As a college student who is grateful for the opportunity to pursue my dream of attending college, what ideas do you have in moving forward the performance-based funding initiative? What would you do to ensure Massachusetts continue to strengthen and invest in our community college, as well as improve the employment rate for students graduating from college? I'm an ambitious and talented communication student, and I'm excited to graduate and be successful in charting my career path, as well as contribute to my community. Thank you.
Stronger community colleges, stronger employment rates for graduates. And we start this round with Evan Falchuk.
Yeah, I mean, it should be fully implemented. You know, the governor included $20 million for this. I know the Boston Foundation has called for full implementation last year. It needs to be done. It's important that we properly support our community colleges. It's very bad for the future of our economy because so many people are relying on the education they get in community colleges to take that next step up. It's very important. Now, this year in the budget, there was a lot of battling over how to make sure that fees and other expenses at our public colleges were capped and the money was allocated for that. You're probably not going to be surprised to hear me say this, but funding for community colleges didn't get treated in the same way. They wanted $20 million. They got $13 million. 47% of the students in Massachusetts in the public higher education are in community colleges. Their fees went up. We're not talking about billions of dollars that needs to be spent on this. We're talking about some tens of millions of dollars. The state has given out, as I said, recently a $300 million tax break to companies like Intel. Maybe Intel could have done what it needed to do for $200 million, and we could have used some of that money to support programs like this for our community colleges. I've also proposed that for 2 years, graduating from Massachusetts high school, you should be able to go to community college for free. I think that's a viable, real thing that we ought to be able to put in place in Massachusetts.
Martha Coakley.
Yes, and thank you, Maria, and good luck to you, too. I think that our community colleges are a key to that regional economic development I talked about at the beginning. That when we have a 2-year state school, and I believe, by the way, that they are different and they have different missions depending on where they are, and that is a strength of those regional community colleges for the industry, the development that that region wants, whether it's Merrimack Valley or it's Roxbury or it's down on the south coast or the south shore. I, like Evan, believe that we should make them available to everybody, particularly since if you graduate from high school now in Massachusetts or you have a GED, you are accepted. But what we found is that 60 to 70% of those who want to go to community college need several months of remedial work. That's expensive, and it often is a barrier to getting where they can be to then take advantage for the 2-year school. So if we can make that pathway clear in terms of access to the school, providing the remedial work, and aligning the kind of workforce development within the regions with our community colleges, we are on the way to making those economies, building that economy that we want on our own terms. Thank you.
Steve Grossman.
I think that community colleges should have funding increased as they demonstrate the partnership that must exist between the business community and the community colleges, and the voc tech schools and high schools play a critical role as well. You're seeing more and more high school students and vocational technical school students actually getting their high school degree, taking courses at a community college, and getting a certificate as well, which means that as they move into community college or to a 4-year school, they already have some credits, meaning they can get a degree more quickly, meaning it costs less. And where students are drowning in debt, and you can get that kind of a joint degree or certificate program, that enhances the ability of students to afford college, whether it's a community college education or beyond that, at a lower cost, which is a lesser burden to the family. Finally, if you look at best practices, you'll see over and over again that community colleges that serve the business community and are feeders for the businesses and vice versa, when they're communicating and working regularly together, that works. That's why local involvement of business leaders in the local community are actually critical, even though Governor Patrick's reforms in many cases have been implemented, the ones that the Boston Foundation played a leadership role in recommending.
Jeff McCormick.
Yeah, I think we also need to get back to, again, the entire system here. We've got to start looking at technologies that will track the outcomes so that there's always feedback to always improve the system. So we need to fund community colleges appropriately. I think we've all agreed we're not doing that to take them to the next level, but we have to constantly come back and say, are we doing the right thing? Are we really empowering people? Are we looking at the whole person to make sure he or she is being fully educated for real jobs that are going to be out there? And I'll tell you right now, there's a lot of community colleges educating people without there being job possibilities for them. And to me, that is wrong. We've got to steer people to where the jobs are going to be.
Don Berwick.
Well, I think public colleges and universities, including especially community colleges, are a gem for the Commonwealth. More kids or people attend them than attend private education. 85% of the graduates stay in the state. It's a great area for investment. I think we have to understand these are facilities and resources that are now not just used by very young people. They're used by mid-career adults in transition. And in a changing economy with the kind of skills gap we've got to remember that there are adults, many with children, that are trying to use the community colleges. That means programming around flexible delivery, stackable credits so people can go in and out of college and not lose the credit. They can grow their educational track record as they go. That's very important. So there's a lot of interesting innovations to do with our community colleges. When they thrive, they're great. The Northern Essex Community College, I believe, has an arrangement with GE that I find amazing. GE actually helping create the curriculum there so that people are ready for the work. On performance-based funding, be a little cautious. Sometimes it's the place that's doing worse that needs more. And a blunt view of performance management is old-style management. Modern management is a learning system, and this relates to governance and leadership. We must protect the community college system from patronage, which we're seeing the effects of in the paper today. That erodes public trust. It's the wrong thing to do. We need excellence in leadership.
And Evan Falchuk.
Didn't I answer this question?
Sure you did.
Yeah. Oh, I apologize.
I can, if you give me another minute, we'll keep going.
I apologize. Thank you. You're paying very good attention.
Isn't that good?
This actually, I'm thinking ahead to, we have now come to our final round, and we have allocated 90 seconds for all the candidates to sum up, add anything you wished you'd said that you want people to know before you walk out the door, something you want to leave them with. And for this round, we start with Evan.
So we're just summing up.
Summing up.
Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity to be here. It's a privilege to have had the opportunity to talk about this critically important issue with you. I founded the United Independent Party to bring smart, brave reform to our politics, economy, and government. I did it because I believe that everyone is equal, that everyone's civil rights must be protected, and that the government must spend our money wisely. I think our establishment today doesn't take people seriously or treat them seriously. People don't feel as if their interests are being represented. And I think we've seen the results of that and the symptoms of it in some of the very issues we've talked about tonight. Half measures, nice talk, but money that isn't there. Money that's going off to priorities that most voters would say, why are we doing things in that way? The monopolistic consolidation of hospitals into giant systems that are raising healthcare costs to unsustainable levels. The lack of housing in so many communities because the state doesn't properly fund education, which is the most important critical piece of our future. After this election, when the United Independent Party is an official party, we'll have the opportunity to run lots of new legislators who believe in these same values and who want to take these issues just as seriously as I do. And when you see those people running in those races and getting into our legislature, we'll be able to say this new party is not some third party. It's a second party. It's something to provide real accountability and meaningful results and action on the issues that we face today. So I thank you again for your time and your attention, and I humbly ask for your support and for your vote. Thank you.
Martha Coakley.
Thank you, Peter, and thank you all for being here tonight. As I said at the beginning, I believe that as we turn this economy around, we need to turn it around for everybody. The Massachusetts can be prosperous and fair, and the way that we do that is starting with providing educational opportunities for everyone, making sure that we do the best for every child to find his or her dream and be able to follow it, and to make sure that we strengthen our community colleges, we provide accessible higher education for people who want to do it, and we align what our businesses are doing, our innovation economy, our high-tech, our biotech, our tech, as well as our healthcare and our other industries, to make sure that we are doing the best we can as a good partner to provide for our workforce, which is our people. You know, I sat and talked with some kids at Framingham State not too long ago. They all hope they'll get jobs, but they're working 2 jobs now while they're paying for school, or their parents have taken out loans. They know there's a good chance they have to get another degree in order to get not just a job, but the career they want. That has to change, and we have to make all education to get that job, that career that people want, affordable and accessible to everybody. It also means that we continue to provide for all of our kids the science, technology, engineering, and math. You know, I also sat with about 150 women on the South Shore recently. They are between 35 and 60. They've all been laid off, and they have been unemployed for 18 months or more. They work with each other, but they're hoping this economy will turn around for them too. Your next governor has to be a champion for everybody in this Commonwealth to get the dream job that they want and can keep. Thank you.
Steve Grossman.
Thank you for being here. If you'd like to help me in my campaign to become governor, stevegrossman.com is the website. My email address is steve@stevegrossman.com. Let me know if you'd like to get involved. I'd like to close by talking about an issue that has not come up tonight, but I think is critical, and that is our criminal justice system. I want to be governor of Massachusetts to build one Commonwealth that levels the playing field and leaves no one behind. We have tens of thousands of people who are incarcerated in our jails and in our prisons. Overwhelmingly, they are people of color. Overwhelmingly, many of them are involved with or have been involved with low-level drug offenses. We are treating them as a criminal justice problem or issue. We should be treating them as a health care issue. And when we finally understand that the opioid epidemic and drug offenses are basically more of a health issue than a criminal justice issue, and we begin to reform that system, we will do something significant. But beyond that, we've got to make sure that as people are coming out of incarceration, as people are coming back into our society, they've got to have workforce training inside the walls and outside the walls. Mike Ash, the sheriff of Hampden County, is probably the most visionary sheriff or criminal justice person in the state. He's a social worker for 37 years, and he has a program that is a model for the rest of the country, just acknowledged so and just honored by the President. So I would appeal to all of us as we talk to workforce training, let's not forget those who are incarcerated. Let's not forget those who have been involved in the criminal justice system. We have an obligation to every one of those to help those men and women reclaim their lives and be full participants in this society of ours as we move forward. Thank you so much for listening.
Jeff McCormick.
So the Jeff for Jobs, why is that so important to me? To me, so many of these issues are actually related to poverty. And if we can just figure that one out and give everyone an opportunity to be successful, an opportunity to apply their hard work and take care of their families, a lot of these things begin to take care of themselves. And if you think about jobs, the connection to education is obvious. But there's a connection to housing. There's a connection to transportation. There's a connection, of course, to health care. So jobs is in the middle of this. You've got to have that. And as jobs are created, we then create the resources for all of these kinds of programs that we're talking about. The high cost of housing, the high cost of education, the need for early childhood education. There are issues in healthcare, obviously, that need capital as well. And you also have less of a burden on the state. So to me, that is the rifle shot I am going after. I have the experience to do it. I've been doing it for 27 years. I've created thousands of jobs in my life. I know how to do it. I know how to use technology to drive efficiencies so taxpayers get more for their dollar. And I'd love your support, and our website is jmacforgov.org. Thank you very much.
And Don Berwick.
Thanks a lot. Thanks for having me here. Two of the people that endorsed my candidacy are Senator Ken Donnelly and Senator Dan Wolf. One is a progressive leader whose roots are in labor, The other is a progressive leader whose roots are in corporate leadership, and yet they work together to support me because they're interested together in the progressive agenda. I see the heart of what's happening here in the conversation we have today so much about cooperation and working together. We've mentioned forms of cooperation between schools and business, between government and schools, between government and business. We need to keep creating that nexus of activity, and that's what's so thrilling about being in this room, looking at the sponsors here and understanding that we are willing to work on this together. We will root that work best if we remember that it is rooted in values. The values that inform my campaign are a complete commitment to justice, social justice, and to equality and compassion in public life, words that we have lost sight of in too much public discourse. I will fight poverty as a governor. We will end substance abuse if we possibly can. We'll add mental health services back where they should be. We will have single-payer health care, Medicare for all in this state. We will work for justice. And when I leave this room, I'll take away, as I do from any event, some memories that won't ever leave me. The two that will not leave me were Shaquila's words, a young person who's now successfully in the economy and proud of it because of some help she got from Europe. And the more than words people sitting in the front here. When I came in the door, these young people came up to me, told me what they do. Building self-efficacy, they said, is the heart of everything we do at More Than Words. No, building self-efficacy is at the heart of whatever we do in a just and civil society, and we need to have that fight. I'd love to be your governor. Thank you.
I want to be sure to express all of our gratitude to Roxbury Community College for your wonderful hospitality tonight, Dr. Robertson. To a fantastic technical and stage staff that has made sure you hear everything that all of our candidates say, and crisply and clearly and well. Skillworks and the Boston Foundation for sponsoring and bringing us together tonight. And then finally, one more collective round of applause for our 5 candidates whose devotion is very clear to the Commonwealth. Thank you. Thanks.